Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons, where you can sign up to be a member of the Shannons Club, your local Holden certified service centre, Pace Farm the enjoyable egg, and Heron Forbes Machinery House, where you can buy online. G'day, I'm Fletch and welcome to the show as I bring you back to Wagga Wagga in New South Wales. Today, a guy and his classics. You're about to see them, so let's go in this week's Classic Restos on the road. Well, they keep on coming, don't they? Unassuming properties, and we always wonder what is lurking behind the roller doors. Today, it's about quality, not quantity. So now it's time to meet Ian Holgate. Ian's interest in veteran and vintage cars started when his dad opened a garage in Rye Park. Ian can remember a T Ford coming into the garage for repairs and petrol. It was a preference to help his dad in the garage rather than doing his school homework at the time. Ian left school and moved to Wagga Wagga to start his apprenticeship as a panel beater. Not long after finishing his apprenticeship, Ian scored himself a job as a part-time teacher at TAFE, teaching mature aged students restoration, which was mainly working on veteran and vintage vehicles. A full-time job at TAFE in 1981 came around and he worked that job until retirement in January 2011. Around 1974, Ian purchased his first project, a 1926 30D Oldsmobile Sedan, which took 5 years to restore, and it was registered in 1980. Then came a 1938 Morris Roadster. Then a 1923 Gardner Special Tourer. It sat beside the shed for quite some time before the restoration started, and that restoration took almost 20 years. And the 1974 XB Falcon GS Sedan purchased new from Parktown Auto in Tumut in February 1975. Good morning, Ian. How are you?
Good, thank you. Good, thanks, Fletch. Welcome to our house.
Thank you very much. It's a beautiful place. You can't get enough of that fresh air, can you?
Yeah, pretty good at the moment. It's pretty fresh.
Fresh air, great outlook, laced with classic cars. Doesn't get much better, does it?
No, pretty good.
Yeah. Well,
I like my cars.
I know, and you've got some fantastic examples here. First one out of the stable this morning, this 1926 Oldsmobile. This is a rare car, Ian.
It is a rare car. Rare in Australia as far as a 26 four-door sedan goes.
Yeah. Now this shape was made between 1923 to 1927. Around 50,000 of these Oldsmobiles were built back in the time. Also a Fisher body car.
Yes.
I just love what you've done here. Now this was a long time coming, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah. 5 years. And
being the handy guy you are, a craftsman as well, got to put yourself streets ahead. I think if anyone has the ability to shape panels, weld, do the body fabrication, that puts you in front of mile. You've done an outstanding job here. We look at the interior of the car and looking at it now, to think that was done back in 1981, it's really held together well.
Oh yeah, done a good job. The fellow out at Coolum done that. Yeah, he wasn't actually an upholsterer.
Yeah.
But he's a bootmaker.
Yeah,
but
wow.
done some upholstery work, and he done that. Done a really nice job.
Way out in the sticks.
Out in the sticks, yeah. Further out than here, anyway.
Yeah, I wonder how many beers it took him to do it.
I know.
He did a great job.
Yeah.
What a stunning vehicle this is. Have a look at it. It's gorgeous with its running boards and the tins on the side.
Yep.
I guess purely, a luxury, a bit of an advantage to have those extra fluids on the running board in case you needed them.
It was good when I went to Alice Springs. That's why they're there. They both had fuel in them.
Yeah. Did you use them?
Yes, I did.
You did?
Yeah, there was a couple of stretches where there was no fuel.
Yeah.
Yeah, no fuel available. We had to carry it.
6-cylinder engine?
Yep.
I guess on that note too, it's fairly economical. I guess it's a 26, 28 mile to the gallon car.
To be quite truthful, I don't know.
Right, okay.
Just tip it in the back.
Right.
Otherwise you have to push it.
There you go. So we look at the opulence of this vehicle. It's typical General Motors of the time. They had so many brands under their banner. as well.
Yeah. Pontiac and
Cadillac all the way
Cadillac,
down.
Pontiac, Chev,
Yeah.
Oldsmobile,
Yeah.
Buick.
Have you driven a Buick, say, for example, of the same era? Have you driven other cars?
No, not a Buick or anything. I've driven Chevs.
Yeah.
What else? Dodges, but that's not in that league there.
Yeah.
No, that's better. Chev,
I think because under the General Motors banner, I think it's quite interesting. I think you'd be, if you're blindfold and you got in each one, you'd be probably struggling to work out which one you're in.
Well, that's right. They're similar. Yeah.
Okay, the cosmetics of the car, the bright work around the radiator area, the shiny work there is beautiful. The ornament, the hood ornament, that's just gorgeous sitting there.
Yeah. It wasn't on it, but something, it's reproduction.
So when you got, was it a complete car?
No,
Was it all there?
No.
It wasn't?
No, it'd been cut into a ute.
Wow.
Hacked about pretty bad.
Oof.
But the back tub part was there.
Yeah.
So,
What I love too of the time is how proud these manufacturers were with their die-cast plates that they'd put on the outside of the car, a scuff plate if you would,
yes, yeah.
with their name etched into the metal.
Cast into it.
Cast into it.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
They're all original.
It's a nice.
Oldsmobile.
Yeah, you did well finding them.
Yeah, I did.
Let's look at the wheels for a sec. We've still got timber spokes here. They look outstanding as well.
And they're all original wheels.
Wow. So okay, so you didn't have to
have to get them redone.
You didn't have to chop down a stringy bark tree and spin it up in the lathe and make your own spokes? No?
No, they're all original wheels.
Wow.
Yeah, they're actually the wheels that were on the car.
Yeah, that's
it
brilliant.
wasn't in a shed either, it was underneath a briar bush.
Wow. Now, Ian, later on with cars, when we had the box out the back and a spare wheel, they were known as a Continental kit. Back in 1926, the box on the back as an option, did it have a name?
I don't know whether it actually had a name, but it was on the deluxe Oldsmobile.
Right, okay. Yeah. It's an outstanding car, I love it, I really do. The rarity, the workmanship that you've put into this, and you've just had it for so long.
Yeah.
And that's really nice.
Yeah, it's all my work, a whole lot of it.
Yeah.
Woodwork, everything.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. Love it, mate, well done.
Well, what's the car mean to me? A lot, I guess. Probably the pride of the fleet, I think. It does get to it, but yeah, I think the pride of the fleet, and I love driving it. It's nice to drive, as I said to you earlier. I've driven it sort of halfway around the country. Been to Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane. Hadn't been to Perth yet, but that's on the drawing board. Alice Springs, toured Tassie. It's a lovely car to drive. The car is almost 100 years old, 1926, so it's been around a while. And in relation to driving and comparing it to our modern cars, obviously it's different. But the modern car is quiet, gear change is easy. This is a task to drive as far as gear changing. You've got to drive the car thinking about the other people that's driving around you. They pull up in front of you and think, oh, he can pull up, but you can't pull up as quick as what a Falcon can, or a Commodore, or even a truck sometimes. They are slow to pull up. I just like getting behind the wheel and cruising down the road. Old cars in my life, it's been a big part of my life. Right from when I was a little tacker, my dad had a garage. I used to love seeing this old T model come in. I think probably a veteran T model. I remember it was green, and there was another fellow, Dad used to look after his 27 Chev. He used to drive it up the farm every day, dogs in the back. It wasn't treated as a car as such, it was more like his ute, his farm ute to get to work, but that was it. That was the only car he had. And I don't know, I just took a love to those cars then, I think.
When I was a kid, I loved cars, still do. The 57 Cadillac Eldorado Brougham was the most advanced car in the world. Cost more than a Rolls. Hand-built with a stainless steel roof, cruise control, electric seats, and would you believe, air suspension. American iron. It's a passion Shannons understand. That's why they insure my daily drive, the caddy, my bike, even the house.
Call Shannons on 13 46 46. Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts.
When it comes to cars, there are some brands that will remain with us forever, no matter what. The Holden was always Australia's own car, held high in the hearts of many. Those lines, that chrome, the stories around them, and the people that owned them. From the classic through to the final, you can still trust in genuine Holden and AC Delco parts, available through the Holden Certified Service Network. Moving on through, as we do at Ian's place. Are you enjoying yourself, Ian?
Yeah, Fletch, it's been good. Good day.
What an opportunity to have Fletch come to your place.
Oh, I think so.
Jeez,
yeah,
I tell you.
yeah, I was sort of pretty excited when you rang up and said, "Can I come and see you?" So,
There you go.
Yeah.
I like finding what's in the regional areas. Well, not just the regional areas,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean. It's good to see what the blokes have got. Behind us here, what a brilliant example. A 12th month 1974 XB Fairmont. You've had this from day one.
From brand new. Yep.
Beautiful car, Ian.
Good car. Good car. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a soft
Been
spot
treated
for
like
these.
a baby a bit.
Well, there's nothing
But
wrong
that's
with
why
that.
it looks like it does today, I guess.
That's why it's lasted.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it hasn't been flogged, you know, and the end result is what we see here. Beautiful car being the Fairmont, a few little extra trim options, well, that came standard, obviously. Power windows,
Power windows.
and also 4-speed car.
Yeah, not auto.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of Fairmonts are autos.
that's got to make it rare.
Yeah. I don't know. It probably does, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. Single rail Borgie, 4-speed box, doing a good job over
Doing
the
a good
time.
job.
Yeah, yeah. They're a great 4-speed
Yeah,
box.
good gearbox.
Yeah, they used to put them in the E38 Chargers, E49 Chargers. They were in
lot
the
of cars.
they were in the Falcons with the Clevos right through to the end. So they stood up very, very well. So 302 car.
302.
Yeah.
Pretty factory standard engine.
Yeah, isn't that
It's
good?
been apart, but still standard bore.
Interior, Ian, has that been redone?
It's been retrimmed.
Yep.
Yeah, but retrimmed back with factory material.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that
took,
good?
Which took a bit of tracking down.
Yeah.
But I did.
Yeah.
What's it called? Trim Fix Supplies.
Yeah.
Is where it come from.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
I've got a bit of a soft spot for these Henrys. I think they're a great Australian road car of the time, and you know, I think they are starting to, you know, get a bit thin on the earth, to be quite honest. We don't see them everywhere we go.
No.
You know, I think it's nice that you've kept yours for so long. So it's had paint as well.
It's been painted.
Yeah. See, this is the thing, when you've had a brand new car since, you know, 1974, 1975, of course you're allowed to do interiors and you're allowed to do paint. I mean, that's a long time.
Yeah. Well, and it's done over 300,000 k's. So it's done its job.
Been a family car as well?
Yeah. My wife drove it to work every day while I worked for TAFE.
Yeah, well, that could be punishment within itself, can't it? You
Well,
know?
sitting in the sun all day.
Well, there you
didn't do
go.
it much good. That's why it's been retrimmed. Yeah.
And over the years, some of the places in Australia that it's been, where have you been to, Ian?
Where has it been? Oh, obviously Sydney, Newcastle, been to Melbourne, down to the Ford 75 years celebration.
Yep.
And obviously all around this area here, Wagga and all around the outlining towns.
Yeah, just been a great country car.
Yeah.
The ROH wheels as well, were
Yep.
they on it from new?
No, they weren't on it from new. There's something I found for it.
Yep.
They call them option 52.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in the options list.
Yep.
For Ford.
Do you still have the original steel wheels?
I do.
You,
yeah,
see? Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
How many guys threw the Steelies away to put the mags on,
yeah.
and the purists want them back again, so you've still got those wheels?
Still tucked away in the shed out the back, out of the weather.
Wise move.
Yeah.
Wise move. No, it's a beautiful car. It really is.
This motor vehicle here behind me we bought new, 1975, February 75, so I forget the date, but anyway. It's been our family car. It was used every day of the week. Our kids learned to drive in it. 2 sons. Wife drove it to work every day because I had a company car for a while. And then when I worked for TAFE, we bought another vehicle. We had 2 vehicles and she was still driving this to work every day and sitting in the sun at the hospital. And I said, that's got to stop. So we bought an old wreck and she drove that to work and I put that in the shed. Yeah, and that's why it looks as good as it does today, I guess. We drove it everywhere, you know. Drove to Sydney, Newcastle, went to see Rellos on holidays. Not that we had many holidays, I don't think, while we were using this as our main car. But yeah, it's been the family car, and I think I was tempted to trade it in, but pulled the pin on it because they didn't give me enough money. So I guess that's why we've still got it and why I hung it on, because I like the car. It's nice to drive. A little bit rare, I suppose, too, these days. Not too many of them around. born and bred in Australia. There's a little sticker on the back window. They still were influenced from America. As Fletch says, the Ford Torino was sort of a base car for them to start with. And I just like it. I like the shape of it. I like the vents in the bonnet, and they look tough. Just a nice looking car. I think, personally, I think they look better than the XA and the XC, but that might be because I own it, I suppose. And not one-eyed, of course, but I like XB. Yeah.
This is another one of Ian's cars. It's a 1923 Gardner. It's pretty interesting sort of a car. It's they didn't make many of them. It's an upmarket car from back in the time, 1923. Gardner automobiles were built in St. Louis in Missouri from 1920 to 1931. Now, they called these a radio special. Of course, they didn't come with radios, but they had beautiful bright work and nickel work, leather interiors, which gave them the special reference. Russell E. Gardner was his name, and in 1879 he left his home state of Tennessee and moved to St. Louis in Missouri. 35 years later, he was a multi-millionaire. He was making Chevrolet bodies at the time, and he ended up selling those bodies to General Motors. Back in 1921, the sales for these cars were around 3,800, and by 1922, that had escalated to 9,000 vehicles. So the engine we've got here is a 43 horsepower four-cylinder engine, which in 1923, the Gardner had the largest cubic capacity of a four-cylinder engine. So the car being so rare and being restored to perfection the way it has been, it's pretty special. It's a pretty cool car. I like it. Looks good.
Every weekend around Australia, motoring enthusiasts get together to share their passion for cars and bikes. It's a passion that brings us together. All sorts of people, all sorts of cars and bikes. From the classics of today to the classics of tomorrow. At Shannons, we understand enthusiasts. So when it comes to insurance, it's got to be Shannons. Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
They may not be making the classic Holden anymore, but the legacy lives on. You can still have a Holden certified service using genuine Holden and AC Delco quality parts at over 180 centres across Australia. Go to holden.com.au to find your nearest centre. Book your Holden in, maintain the pride. Got some classics? Got to get them with Shannons. Why not pick up the phone and give Shannons a call for a quote and a chat on 134646. Shannons have a range of diverse products. Why not have a chat to find the one that might suit you best? For more information, visit shannons.com.au. Welcome back. How you doing, Ian?
Good, thank you. Good. Had a feed, we're good.
My word.
Yeah.
We had a nice lunch. I do appreciate that. I tell you what else I appreciate, that Gardner. Now that car, that really is something. I think your expertise, your attention to detail around that engine, that's fantastic.
I thought if it's worth doing, it's worth doing right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I've done it to the best of my ability is to get it original.
Yep.
So it looks right.
Yep.
Never had much to work with. It
Yep.
was just a pile of rusty tin.
To me, it looks like the sort of car you could get in and perhaps just take your time. You could drive to Adelaide.
I think so. Yeah, I wouldn't hesitate in heading off on a long trip, and I don't think. Just that it's slow. We drove to Dubbo.
Just quickly on that, what would let you down? Now, I know you've restored the vehicle, but if it had a weak point, what would concern you to set out on a long trip in the Gardner?
The rear axles would worry me.
Yep.
I don't have any spares, usable spares I can carry with me, and it's a complicated thing to put them in.
Yeah.
And pull the diff all out and pull it apart.
Yeah.
They worry me, but
Yeah.
otherwise, everything else is pretty fine.
Tremendous
It's
effort.
all been restored properly.
Just the opulence in those 20s vehicles for the high-end people to buy at the time.
It was an expensive car to buy.
Ooh, my
Yes,
word,
yeah.
absolutely. Okay, now behind us, a 1938 Morris. This is an interesting car. These were built from 1928 through to 1948, I'm led to believe, with around about 54,000 made. You have one of those. They were assembled here in Australia, but predominantly the UK.
In the UK.
Yep. So what's the history? Where does it go back with you?
Well, we bought it from a club member who had moved away and sort of lost interest in it. He'd partly restored pretty much all the mechanical, but no body. And we bought it off him, went to Canberra and picked it up.
Yep.
When? I think it was, we said about 88 we finished restoring it. So.
And the little symbol on the radiator support there for 8 horsepower, you wouldn't want to break an axle in this, would you, Ian?
I don't think it'd have enough power to break the axle.
There you go. Speaking of which, I've never seen it.
It does go good.
I've never seen an engine that before it looks like a car battery with 4 spark plugs in it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I took it to get the exhaust done on it. And Blake walked past it, I know, the battery at the tyre place. He said, it looks like a battery with 4 spark plugs in it. Because it's only tiny. Yeah.
They made them small, but they were a Roadster at the end of the day.
Yep.
So a bit of a mess when you got it. What was the build period to get this right?
It was pretty much after I finished on the Oldsmobile. We hooked straight into it.
Yeah. Well, look, the end result's nice. I think, you know,
It's all done
it's
in
quite
my backyard.
it's quite a nice looking car, isn't it?
Yep.
Like,
Yeah, it's poor man's MG.
for a little Roadster. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we always see. You know, the doors are cut down like the MG, those early MGs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, it is a Series 2, I'm led to believe as
That's
well.
right.
So, differences between a Series 1 and a Series 2?
Pretty much only the grille, bumper bars
Yep.
were a different shape, and wire wheels
Yeah,
on
okay.
the Series 1.
Okay. Very British inside, isn't it? Large steering wheel, little cluster of instruments in the centre there, and a shelf either side to put things.
Put things, yeah. Put your towels when it's raining.
Your scones.
So you don't get wet.
Roll your, roll your thermos in there,
Yeah,
you
I
know.
suppose you could, yeah. Put your handbag in there. Or
And
whatever.
the blanket.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Ian, what's it like to drive?
It goes pretty good. You know, you put the foot down, it goes. But it's pretty light in the steering. Doesn't wander all over the road or anything, but it's just
Bit of
fun
bump.
little car to drive. But it is a bit of bump
Bump
steering.
steer, yeah.
It's only a little tiny car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got a good cross section of vehicles, haven't
Yeah,
you? Like,
yeah. We have a good time.
Yeah.
They are.
like the Morris, the XB,
Yeah.
the Gardner,
Yeah.
the Oldsmobile. So,
Yeah.
and they're all to a nice standard, which is nice to see. Yeah, you've done a good job on all of them. Ian, I'd like to take this opportunity, thank you very much for the invitation here to showcase your cars. As I mentioned earlier, 4 beautiful cars, and it's a real credit to you. And it's been a pleasure to showcase them for you, mate.
Thank you.
All right, you're
Thank you
welcome.
very much.
Thanks, Ian. You take care of yourself.
I will.
All right.
I hope so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good on you, mate. Well done. Well, how cool was that? That's a wrap for this week's show. Showcasing Ian's incredible 1926 Oldsmobile, his 1923 Gardner, 1975 XB Fairmont, and rounding off with his 1938 Morris Roadster. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next week, no matter where you're watching Classic Restos from, please ride and drive safe. I'm Fletch, and I thank you very much for watching. You can like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Classic Restos TV and watch catch-up episodes at shannons.com.au. Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons, where you can sign up to be a member of the Shannons Club, your local Holden certified service centre, Pace Farm the enjoyable egg, and Heron Forbes Machinery House, where you can buy online.